ABC 10 News at 11 starts now.
An historic moment in the fight against coronavirus in San Diego. It is just hours away. Tomorrow, frontline workers with Rady Children's Hospital will be getting the first dose of the Pfizer vaccine. Good evening. I'm Steve Atkinson. This moment of hope comes as the number of Americans killed by the virus now tops over 300,000. Our ABC 10 News reporter Laura Acevedo shows us how a local hospital is preparing for this historic day.
It's unclear just how many doses will come to the hospital, but once they do arrive, they will be immediately transferred to those ultra low temperature freezers. Similar to the shipment the county received on Monday, Rady Children's Hospital will get its own boxes full of the Pfizer COVID-19 vaccine on Tuesday. A majority of the hospital's staff ready to get the shot.
Because they know this is a really proactive way we're able to combat this community disease.
The hospital's COO, Dr. Nicholas Holmes, explained the hospital's plan for distribution, going first to healthcare workers in Tier 1A for people like physicians, nurses, and respiratory therapists.
Those frontline workers that are more apt to come in contact with COVID patients or people who are under investigation.
Staff within the same departments will get the vaccine on staggered schedules just in case they do present any side effects. And 21 days later, they'll get their second dose. In Los Angeles, Monday, cheers as this ER nurse became one of the first to get the vaccine, hoping for protection from a virus that has consumed her everyday life.
Sacrificing so much of what we do and love to take care of our patients. We've been doing this while trying to take care of our own families.
Governor Gavin Newsom and other elected officials watching along, pointing out that while help is here, the pandemic isn't slowing down yet.
We are in the midst of the worst moment of this pandemic. So today is hopeful and it's reason to be optimistic, but let's be mindful of where we really are.
Laura Acevedo, ABC 10 News.
And Navy Medical Center San Diego received its first shipment of the COVID-19 vaccine just today. Personnel will start getting their shots at the Balboa Park Hospital on Tuesday, and Camp Pendleton will administer its vaccines on Wednesday. Those first doses will be given to frontline healthcare workers and first responders, including emergency medical services personnel and security forces in the military. Navy officials say the vaccine will be on a voluntary basis and at this time is not mandatory for military personnel. Here's our numbers. The county reported 2,200 new COVID-19 cases today. That brings our total to just under 110,000. The county has not yet reported any new deaths from over the weekend, typical for a Monday. More than 1,100 San Diegans have lost their lives to this virus. A teenager is now the suspect in the murder of a 68-year-old hiker in Carlsbad. Police announced this evening that they have made the arrest in the death of Lisa Thorberg on the week of Thanksgiving. Our ABC 10 News reporter Anthony Pura has more on this arrest tonight.
The murder has left many in the community on edge. That's something Carlsbad police has acknowledged, adding that they have worked around the clock to make this arrest. It's been 3 weeks since 68-year-old Lisa Thorberg was found stabbed to death at Hosp Grove Trail in Carlsbad. That was on November 23rd. On Monday, Carlsbad police announced they arrested a 17-year-old for the murder. They have not released his name, but say he is a resident of Carlsbad. Thorberg's death struck a chord with many in the community. In the days following her death, a large group came to honor her by finishing the walk she started. It also left many neighbors shaken up. Many had said they were afraid to run or hike in the trail alone.
I feel very safe here, so this was shocking. Now there's a factor of fear that's crept in because of what's happened.
Police had said they were aware of a social media post Thorberg made 2 weeks before she died, asking on Nextdoor if anyone would care to join her for hikes and walks. But at this point, police have not released any details of what happened or any clues to a motive. Police say the investigation is continuing, but they don't believe there are any more suspects at large. Anthony Pura, ABC 10 News.
And tonight, police are still searching for the man after they say that he dragged an El Cajon officer with a car. Our ABC 10 News reporter Leah Pizzetti shows us how the officer stopped to check on that parked car, and that almost led to him losing his life.
El Cajon police say a black rented SUV was stopped on the side of Washington Avenue Monday morning, blocking traffic. At about 8:30, an officer checking on the car found a sleeping man and woman inside. The male driver, now identified as 41-year-old David Francis Cepeda Pangilinan, gave a fake ID, then started to drive away. The officer tried to stop him and was dragged by the SUV before being hit by another car. The SUV was abandoned nearby, and the two people inside got away. A neighbor gardening out front watched it all unfold.
I heard my son scream and crying, so I turned around and I seen an officer down. So I ran to the officers, but the other policeman came. You know, the guy was out, completely out. You know, blood was coming out of his nose, his mouth, and his head. And his eyes was rolled back in his head. But the other officer came and put his hand on his head. You know, and I started praying for the guy and stuff. So next you know, we seen him move. You know, we thought he was dead.
That officer is now in critical condition, the incident leaving multiple blocks of Washington closed through the day.
All of a sudden, I just heard a whole bunch of sirens.
Many offering up security video to aid in the investigation.
It was good feeling that we can help, actually.
Now, El Cajon police are asking the community to step in and give any information on the suspects involved. Leah Pizzetti, ABC 10 News.
If you do know anything about what happened this morning in El Cajon or where that suspect might be, you're asked to call the number on your screen right now and report that information.
The flame of democracy was lit in this nation a long time ago. And we now know nothing, not even a pandemic or an abuse of power, can extinguish that flame.
President-elect Joe Biden's victory in the 2020 election has officially been cemented. Electors in all 50 states, they met throughout the day, submitting their certified votes to the Electoral College. As ABC's Marcy Gonzalez reports, President Trump, though, still refuses to accept his loss.
Now it is official, the Electoral College voting affirming Joe Biden as the president-elect of the United States.
And the will of the people prevailed.
That will upheld at state capitals across the country, from Georgia.
Joseph R. Biden has received 16 votes for President of the United States.
To Florida.
Congratulations, electors. You have done it.
To California, which put Biden beyond the 270 electoral votes needed to secure the presidency. Biden getting a total of 306 electoral votes, the same number President Trump won in 2016.
At the time, President Trump called the Electoral College tally a landslide. By his own standards, these numbers represented a clear victory then, and I respectfully suggest they do so now.
Yet President Trump still refuses to accept that he lost the election. Fears of a violent response from his supporters forcing Arizona to cast its votes in an undisclosed location and Michigan to close its state capitol and legislative buildings so electors could safely vote.
The people have spoken. It was a safe, fair, and secure election.
Still, most Republicans in Congress haven't acknowledged that Joe Biden won the election and did so by more than 7 million votes. One Republican congressman calling that denial disgusting and demoralizing and announcing he's leaving the party. Some other Republicans now starting to accept reality.
At some point you have to face the music, and I think that once the Electoral College settles the issue today, that it's time for everybody to move on.
Marcy Gonzalez, ABC News, Los Angeles.
Also tonight, California is taking Amazon to court. Today, Attorney General Javier Becerra announced that he's asking a Sacramento County judge to force the online retail giant to comply with investigative subpoenas filed back in August. The AG wants information about COVID-19 case rates, prevention efforts, and sick policies from facilities across California.
If Amazon can next day deliver an 85-inch TV, it should be able to deliver to the Department of Justice the straightforward information we officially requested of them nearly 4 months ago.
An Amazon spokesperson told the LA Times they have been working with the state for months and that the claims of non-compliance just don't line up with the facts.